Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about how to develop, how to make plans, where pieces should go, and the way we're going to do it is by looking at a game between which a student of mine and I played together against someone earlier today. And the game begins e4, e5, knight 3, knight c6, nothing special. White attacked the pawn, black defended, and white played g4, which is the Scotch opening. Okay, the best way to play is to take, which is what we did. White can play this in several ways. He actually does not have to take right away. He has an option of playing bishop c4 and taking this pawn later. He has an option of playing c3, sacrificing a pawn, but he decided to take right away. And now a lot of people in this position like making this capture. So the thing about chess is sometimes there are good trades and sometimes there are bad trades. A lot of people trade just because they can. The way to think about this specific position is right now white has a piece out and black has a piece out. If black were to trade, white now still has a piece out and black does not. So an argument can be made. Maybe we can take advantage of this queen in the center, but the question is how? And c5 is not a move which you want to play because then this pawn becomes really weak. White would drop his queen back. At some point, black would have to play d6, and white would play here, would bring the knight out, would castle. So for example, let me give you an example. So let's say d6, white attacks this pawn, black plays f6, knight c3. White also now has this nice outpost, bishop e7 castle. And this is already getting very, very, very scary. So let's go back. The important rule is don't trade just because you can, and don't attack things also just because you can. Ask about the long-term consequences. Okay, let's go back. This is why we don't take in this position. There are several ways to play. We can develop the knight with tempo attacking the pawn. We can play bishop here, which is what we did. Now, an important note is if white takes us, we don't automatically recapture. We'll play queen here, attacking this, and still trying to pick this up, but without a queen trade. So our opponent defended, and now we develop again queen f6. We have three pieces out, and once again, if he takes, we don't take back this way because we will lose our bishop, but we would take here first, threatening this, and only then, once he deals with it, only then do we recapture. So let's go back. White played after queen f6. White plays smart move c3. He has three defenders. We developed another piece. The point is we want to castle, we want to reinforce this knight, and if our opponent allows, we want to play g5 because it's a good idea to fight for the center when your opponent has a center. So remember, you develop, but you don't just develop at random. Make sure your development makes sense. And he plays bishop c4, which makes sense. It develops a bishop and stops us from playing c5. We castle, he castled. And now, since he castled, he's actually threatening to take. Let me explain why he was not threatening to do it here, to do it one move ago. Let's go back. So let's say in this position, he still cannot do this because of this. So that's an issue. But if we move forward, so let's say, going back to the game, now let's say we played something random, let's say a6, or let's make it less random, let's say d6. Well, we'll get to d6 in a second. So first let's talk about a6. Now when white takes, white is actually threatening to take the bishop. So let's say takes. If we take back, he just takes the bishop. If we take the bishop, he will throw this in first with check, and then he'll pick this up. So that's a problem. We could defend and develop the bishop, but there's a different issue. Again, knight here. We would take back. We would take with the knight. If we take with a pawn, as pawns go, this is as bad as it can ever get. Although you can have quadrupled pawns, but this is very bad. And knight takes is not much better because, again, after this trade, white just has a better pawn structure. He has pawn 3 here, and black's pawn 3 is doubled. Um, so we played, after he cancels, this is a legitimate threat. So we played knight e5. Why? Well, we are hitting the bishop, and there's some dreams. So he played bishop b3, and we played d6. And the logic of d6 is if he plays f4, then maybe we can poke with the knight. I thought maybe he should play h3 first, and then f4. And the problem for black is white has this very nice pawns over here. He has more space, and he can start doing stuff. But he played knight b5. Knight b5 looks like a very annoying move because it attacks this pawn. It's not so easy to defend this pawn because if we drop the bishop back, he's just going to take the bishop and then take this pawn. And this is important. A lot of people, when they see an opponent make a move, they automatically try to deal with the problem being created. But the thing is, black has a good move here, which we found. We played bishop g4. That's the queen. He cannot block with the pawn because this bishop will fall. After the queen moves, well, we can maybe just move this pawn and save it. We can also maybe defend with the rook, which is less good. So opponent moves the queen, and now there is a very nice idea, which we played. You can actually play it in two different ways. It's actually quite cool. It's possible because there are a lot of pieces which are starting to gather around the king. We played bishop f3, which looks weird, but the point, of course, is he cannot take because we take with the knight and we fork. We could have also started with the knight move, and the knight move is kind of interesting. So, for example, knight f3, he has to take. We play bishop here, and white has to be very careful because if he saves his rook, he gets mated. There is no way to stop this. We decide to start to serve with the bishop. Obviously, he cannot take. We have some interesting ideas. One of them could be a sacrifice, followed by this move. One could be something like this. He played bishop d1. In the perfect world, he wants to take, but of course, we don't want to allow that. So we played queen g6, pin, and once again, he cannot take because we take back. Also, we throw a checkmate. So we stopped the checkmate, but now there is a new problem. And the problem is this square is now really weak. And if you were playing back house, you would just ask your partner for a queen and put it here, or a rook and put it here. Also, you can put a queen here. The question that we need to answer is how do we get our queen in here? And the answer is, well, we can do it this way, or we can do it this way. And we chose this one. And the logic is simple. He cannot take because he gets forked, and otherwise this will happen. And in this position, white resigned. So several things which I want you to remember. Don't trade just because you can. Don't attack things just because you can. Ask about long-term consequences. And when your opponent creates a problem for you, it's important to recognize what the problem is, but you don't automatically have to respond to it, because maybe you have an even better move. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, please subscribe, and I will be back soon. Thank you.